So here it is. We're back to the Dark Helmet pity party. Um, just a little explanation of where I've been for the last month and a half and what life has been like. And, I know it's been challenging times for everybody. I don't think anybody's having necessarily the best of their times right now. Who knew we'd be so close to a little mini apocalypse? But here we are in the middle of a pandemic. The world's a very strange place. Um, I myself, I'm actually still working, so I'm out every morning. It's just there's very little traffic going to work. There's very little traffic coming home. It's I'm a pretty empathetic person. I'm pretty sensitive to changes, I'm not I don't believe in voodoo or anything, but I do think that there is I think moods give off a certain energy. If That's the only way I can describe it as energy. I don't know, but when you're around somebody who's angry, you can feel it. When you're around somebody who's really happy, you can feel it. So I've had so much, I'm so used to so much stimulus around the world, being around so many people. It's very difficult for me. I'm not really a big city dweller. I think I'm better suited for country living. But I've grown up and live in a big city. Well, Vancouver's not that big compared to big cities, but you know what I mean. So I'm used to a lot of this kind of real strong energy around me and a kind of a regular dose of it. So even just still going out and just how fewer people there are, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's weird. It's almost kind of I don't know if lonely. I don't think lonely is the right word for it. Um, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's been very offsetting for me. And some of you know that I recently moved. As you can see, I'm kind of partially set up here. Um, it's a little ugly right now, but it's in the basement. I'm just lucky the basement is finished. There are some units in here whose basements weren't finished, so it's a little tacky. But hey, it'll be a man cave for the most part. So tacky's just fine with me. Um, so yeah, we're here. We're finally set up again. But again, just like being outside and different levels of energy, um, because it's unfamiliar. I'm still kind of getting used to everything and facing different directions and different forms of lighting. Lighting's something I really have to work on. I realized when I was doing this that I only have a fluorescent light. And I'm sure anybody who stood under a fluorescent light knows you don't want to film under a fluorescent light. No, you don't. Yeah, you don't want to do it. So I just have a little lamp here. So I got to work on my lighting a little bit, but this is going to be my mostly recording studio at this point. I am going to get a little bit of a room divider so my son can still have free reign because this goes out to the backyard here, and once summertime comes, I think that door is going to become significantly more popular than it is right now. Our weather here is actually getting quite nice, which is making it, I think, a lot harder for people to do the social distancing thing. I don't think Vancouver was especially good at it to begin with, but we're definitely getting better. And like I say, I walk out around our townhouse complex here, and it's just eerily quiet. It's just I don't know. But I think this sunshine, now that the weather's going to finally leave winter and warm up into something we might be able to call spring or even maybe early summer. I heard 20 degrees potentially this week, although I'll believe it when I feel it. It just feels like I've been cold for the last, well, not cold, but it just feels like it's been cold for as long as I can remember. So no, there's things to look forward to. I'm trying to be positive now because, like I say, we'll get into a little bit about what I've gone through. So where do we start? We go back to, I guess, the last week of February. I had to go in for a colonoscopy. I never had a colonoscopy before. I had no idea what to expect. All I know is they stuck a camera up um, you know, your trunk, and they took a peek around all the way up through your colon. It didn't sound like something that I would particularly enjoy, but whatever. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and you get to be my age, and it's better to find things early than to uh, have them take over your body later unexpectedly. So, anyways, there we go. Going for the colonoscopy, and it wasn't it wasn't pleasurable. I wouldn't pay for it, but it wasn't. as bad as you know, considering what they were telling me, it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. It was actually pretty easy, and the end result of it was I got this clean bill of health. My colon looked, my colon's a beautiful colon. Some say I have the best colon. That's my little Donald Trump thing. Anyways, um, so yeah, that's all good. So the week goes by, and it's the Friday before I'm off, and my boss's wife asked me how I'm feeling, and I'm like, fantastic. I feel great. I just got this clean bill of health and I'm feeling good and almost 55 and I'm feeling like I'm just turning 25. Perfect. Okay, have a good day. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Less than an hour later, I get stabbed in the lower back. Now, not with a knife, not with any kind of external weapon. I don't know what it was. Well, I do know what it was, but that's what it felt. That's what it feels like. It's just when you get a kidney stone, the pain is depending on which kidney you have, right and left. It's kind of lower and towards the back. So I rolled around on my bed, pissing and moaning a little bit, and I couldn't take it anymore. The pain wasn't going away. I went down to the emergency room now. This was early March. This is just really before pandemic set in. I mean, COVID was known about. There were cases out there, but they, very small, and it hadn't blown up. Anyways, I was in the waiting room there for 3, 4 hours. I mean, it was just happened to be particularly busy that day, which kind of really cycles into my luck. It's not always like that. I mean, I've been to the emergency room, and yeah, sometimes you gotta wait, and sometimes it's pretty quick. It really depends. That's just the funny thing with people. Sometimes we hurt ourselves, sometimes we avoid it, and sometimes we all do it at the same time. So I finally get in, and get some pain medication. Pain goes away. Talk to the doctor. He says, "Do you want to do a CT scan? Take a look." And then, I said, I had a kidney stone last year. I'm thinking that was probably it. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't, an appendix or something. And he's like, "Yeah, I think you're right. If you had one before, and there was apparently one on your left side, which they saw in the X-ray last year, by the way, then that's probably what it was. Go home. You're gonna have to suffer. You're gonna have to pass it. I've passed a kidney stone before. Doesn't feel good. Don't like it. Don't ever want to do it again. But I've passed them before." So I go home. And over the course of the next 5 days is just, well, women who have had both kidney stones and childbirth compare the pains. So I guess basically after like 5 days of labor, I had gone back to the emergency room a couple of times. And it finally gets to the point where they're going, okay, well, we're going to have to go in and zap it with a laser. Uh, That's fine. Again, they told me what the procedure was. They, take a little camera and they go up, but they don't go through the back end. They go through the front, yeah. So I'm like, I'm sleep for this one, of course, right? Oh, it's no problem, no problem, no problem. I had a choice. They can do it sonically. They can break it down using sound waves, and then you pass smaller stones. But the hospital here in Richmond, where I am, they don't do that. That's done downtown Vancouver, and this is getting closer to where COVID was becoming more serious. So he didn't want to send me to Vancouver because it could have been canceled. I mean, a lot of things could have happened because it wouldn't have happened right away. It would have been an extra week wait or so. So we decided that doing the laser blasting was the best thing to do. So yeah, I go in there, after a week, and I don't know, I've kind of lost track of times and dates now. I guess it was about a week later that I finally got, or a week total that I had been in off and on pain. But when the pain was on, it was like a 9 or a 10. And when the pain was off, it was just kind of just more of a discomfort, but it's pretty steady. It begins to wear on you after a while. So I'm looking forward to having this surgery. So anyways, I go in there for the day of the surgery. I go into the surgical room. They're putting the mask on me, hooking up the electrodes and all that stuff. And they say, start breathing in the gas deep. You'll feel a little funny, and then you'll be, and they were right. I felt a little funny, and psh, gone. I was out. I don't remember any of it, but I do remember waking up, and I do remember my experience from that moment on, and that was probably the most difficult 2 or 3 days of my life. And I've had some pretty difficult times. I've done some pretty stupid things to my body, but when I pulled back the blanket at the hospital room, it was blood. And this is where it might get a little graphic. So for those of you who are a little bit queasy, might want to just mute it for the next few seconds. But yeah, for the next 2 or 3 days, I was peeing blood. It burned like hell. It was like I I really want to swear right now. It was really really painful. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of fun. And as it turned out, when he tried to get the laser up there in my ureter, which is the tiny little tube that goes from your kidney down to your bladder, mine's exceptionally small. Like most ureters are apparently 3 or 4 millimeters wide. Mine was closer to like 2 millimeters. So not only did I have a 8 millimeter kidney stone that had to pass down like a 2 millimeter ureter, it just wasn't going to happen. That's why I was having so much pain. And to have unnaturally small one is just like, oh, come on. It couldn't, you couldn't write a horror story any better than this. So the downside to all that was they didn't even get the laser up there to zap the stone. All they were able to do was insert a stent, which was basically in there to stretch my ureter apart. And this is why I was bleeding so much for the first few days. So it was, yeah, I was peeing blood for, I had that ureter in there for almost 2 weeks, I want to say, 10 days. And for 7 of those days, I was peeing blood and blood clots and yeah, I wasn't having any fun. And then the worst thing that developed from all that is I ended up getting a bit of an infection in my kidney. So with the stent in, you have this overwhelming urge to have to pee all the time. And this stent is 18 inches long. And then anyways. But every time I peed, it would cause my kidney to spasm, and it would be like being stabbed in the back again, and twisting the knife. Every time I peed, it would set that off, and that would last for about 40 minutes until it would go away. And that I had like they gave me bushelfuls of all kinds of different incredible painkillers, and they weren't working. I was eating antibiotics and painkillers, and this one to help the muscles around that area relax. I don't know. I was a medicine chest for a long time. It was really just the pain. All of it was just really starting to really make things difficult for me. So yeah, so I mean, again, every hour I would have to pee, and then for 40 minutes I would be in this stupidly intense pain. So I went back into the hospital again, and this time I stayed overnight as they gave me, bags of antibiotics, uh, and that actually ended up solving that problem. That after that particular night, I think that was the worst of the worst. I don't think the pain got ever as high again after that. But that having that infected kidney and that stent in there at the same time, that was wicked. I don't wish that upon anybody. So anyways, um, time rolls around now. It's time to get that stent out, get laser blasted. So yeah, I go in for that one, and no problem. Go under, wake up, no blood, feeling way better than I did the last time I woke up. But they had to put a stent in. I still had to keep a stent in for another 10 days. And this stent had a string on it. So think you have an 18-inch stent, and then the string's another foot long, and the last 6 inches or so, or 4 inches, I don't know what it was, hang out of the tip of my wang. I had a string what better way can I describe it than a string hanging from my wang for 10 days. And and again, with that stent in there, that's that constant need to have to pee. And if I had nothing in my bladder and nothing in my kidney, it would just, yeah, it's just this burning sensation right on the tip of my. So yeah, my boss and coworker asked me what the pain was like what was it like to go a month like that, and I said, well, put it this way. And this was like on the Thursday before on Saturday when I had my final stent removal. I said, I am looking forward to pulling that stent out through my penis. I the idea of doing that was kind of exciting because it was going to end the pain and discomfort I had been in um, for so long. And so yeah, Saturday morning I you know uh, sat down on the toilet and took this string and just slow and steady, and it got so long that I actually had to like pull my hand back to keep. Oh, that was not as painful as I thought it would be. It did create a highly unusual feeling because you kind of feel it dragging through your uterus, and of course, for us men, um, through our penises. And yeah, it creates this kind of a pressure kind of discomfort. And I just remember pulling it and seeing the string come out and thinking, God, I wish this thing would just finally, poke out the tip so I know it's at least close. And then yeah, that happens, and then you're just thinking, oh, come on, just this final pull's got to be it. And yeah, so you all had to live through that because I had to actually do it. So if anybody's actually still listening to this video at this point, I'm really impressed. So there it is. It's out. I feel great. Um, my body feels great right now. Things just feel normal. I had forgotten what normal feels like, and every time I don't feel normal and then I feel normal again, I try to remember to appreciate just how lucky we are when we're healthy. And for those of you who know somebody who might be sick or might be having some challenges right now, have some empathy for them because it really it can mess with your mind. It made it very difficult just to get back into doing these videos because the whole reason, like I say, when I started is I was very shy about this, and when I took that month off, it was and then the move, and it was all very difficult, and it's made it very difficult for me to get kind of comfortable again. And but now that I've done the second video now, I think I can probably get back to doing this regularly. I kind of look forward to it. So anyways, I'm healthy again. Now unfortunately my family's misfortune never ended. My brother, who's 4 years older than I am, collapsed the very next night after I got my stent out. And there was, they asked my mom how they would resuscitate him if he died during the night, and that was a little like, um, yeah, that was difficult news to hear after having gone through and kind of bitching about my own pain. Suddenly, what I went through seemed very, very small. But he's back. He's out of the hospital. He's got some things he's got to deal with. I wish him the best of health. I don't really know what state he's in right now. But that's a different conversation, and that's a more of a family thing, and not something I discuss. My brother's health is his health, um, and not something for me to share, obviously on social media. But he's doing better. He's past the high risk time. But he's got some opportunities and some things that he gets to work on to try to make himself healthy again, or else his time with us might be a lot shorter than anybody would hope for. So yeah, there you have it. That's where I've been. That's why I haven't been doing these videos. I've either been in too much pain, too miserable, too sad, too just out of it. And but now I'm glad I'm back because I think it was therapeutic for me back then. It'll continue to be therapeutic for me now, and it's just becoming a bit of a hobby now as well. So win-win all around. So we're gonna end this one off with a little fitness. My son did a very quick little Taekwondo video here. Again, if you're still listening, I just think this one's something just to add to the end of this. Like I say, my pity story. But this is Tyler showing off his punches and kicks. It just goes to show just how vain this kid can be a little bit too, because you'll see he keeps looking to his left and there's a mirror there, and when he looks at the mirror, sometimes he misses his kicks, and yeah. Anyways, it's funny. It's just because he stumbles, but he does his best, and that's what I love about this kid is he's very open. He loves to share stories and experiences, and yeah, let's go. Another 2 minutes and we'll say goodbye.
Welcome back to another video. Today I'm at my martial arts practicing my kicks and punches. So here we go.
Like that. He's actually much better than this, but like I say, he keeps looking away instead of focusing on what he's doing, but he's just having fun, so. He just got his black stripe this weekend, actually. I think this video is from February.
This is ending, so hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so I can be more famous.
I don't know if any of you caught it at the end there, but he says like and subscribe and turn on notifications so I can be more famous. Vain, vain, vain. I don't know what he's going to be like as a teenager. I feel sorry for his girlfriend already, though. So there we are. We're going to finish off on a good note after my month from hell. It's good to be back. It's good to be doing this again. And for anybody who lasted this long, you're amazing. And next time it's going to be back to the Queen videos. Okay, take care. Bye bye.